In the last video, we talked about DQ frame of reference or transformation, and we saw that if you have a synchronously rotating frame of reference, then the quantities in A, B, and C phases can be transformed to that synchronously frame of reference. And if ABC only has the fundamental component balance system, then these quantities transform to a DC values, right? In ABC, if you have different harmonics or if you have unbalance and so on, then we saw that what would be its transformation in the synchronous rotating frame, right? So this was all captured in the discussion video number 4.4. So now what we want to do is we want to understand how to define power in this DQ frame, right? That's especially relevant when we talk about solar inverters. So since this course is about renewable energy and we were discussing about solar inverters, usually these inverters would like to operate at maximum power P, and they expect to have a controllable reactive power Q, right? And therefore understanding the power and the reactive power in context to the DQ frame becomes important. So let's start our discussion and let me take a simplification here. So in this video we will only talk about DQ frame, right? We will assume that there is no zero sequence component. So why I am making that assumption, that will be clear once we talk about the interconnection of the solar central inverters with the grid, and there we will actually discuss about that the interconnection in between the transformer and the inverter is usually a 3-wire circuit, and therefore there is usually no zero sequence component of current in that circuit, right? But for the time being, let's just take it as an assumption that so this video is only going to talk about if there is no zero sequence component, right? Maybe in some advanced courses in power electronics control, these things I can probably try to capture. Let's start with defining P, right? So the way we usually define P in a three-phase circuit, instantaneous power, is the multiplication of VA-IA plus VB-IB plus VC-IC, right? Yeah, and now if you see, this can be written as V ABC vector transpose into I ABC vector, right? Because this can be written as VA, VB, VC and IA, IB, IC. Now let us see how VABC depends on the DQ parameters. We have already seen the transformation before, right? Let me just use that same transformation and rewrite it here. So if we talk about VA, VB, VC, right, then this is nothing but equal to cos theta cos of theta minus 2 pi by 3 cos of theta plus 2 pi by 3 minus sine of theta minus sine of theta minus 2 pi by 3 minus sine of theta plus 2 pi by 3, right? And since we are assuming there is no zero sequence component, so that's it. In the DQ we only have VD and VQ, right? There is no zero, and therefore this matrix is only also 3 by 2 matrix instead of 3 by 3 in case of if you have a zero sequence component, right? If you remember, this is essentially the inverse Clark plus, or rather multiplied with inverse Parkes transformation, right? Both of them were discussed in the previous video. Same transformation is applicable for current also. So now what we'll do is we'll replace this voltage vector in terms of the dq0 voltage vector and the three-phase current vector in terms of the dq0 current vector. So let me continue to write P, which is, I'm calling it as instantaneous active power, right? Small p is equal to V ABC transpose I ABC, which I can rewrite as this matrix. Let me just call it, let's say C prime, right? So this matrix C prime into V dq full thing transpose into IABC is going to be C prime into I dq. Further simplify this, and this will give me V dq transpose into C prime transpose into C prime into I dq. And you can feed this value, right? You can find what is C transpose C, and this is what you will get once you solve for C transpose C. So this is VD VQ, and this C transpose C will give you 3 by 2, 3 by 2, 0, 0, ID, IQ, right? If you further simplify this, you will get 3 by 2 times VD, ID plus VQ, IQ. Right? This is nothing but the instantaneous real power. You can also write this as 3 by 2 times the dot product of vector voltage vector with the current vector, right? And the magnitude of that. That is nothing but the instantaneous power in this case. Alright, so this is the instantaneous power P if in dq frames. For example, if you know VD, VQ, ID, IQ, then you can quickly find the instantaneous power by using this particular equation. Let me call it as equation number 1. An important thing to note here is, if you consider a three-phase balanced pure sinusoid voltages and currents, right, then you can see that this P expression, which is 3 by 2 times V dq dot I dq, becomes something like this. So if this is your dq frame, right, and this is your voltage vector and this is your current vector, right, we can see that the dot product is going to be 3 by 2 times magnitude of the voltage vector multiplied by magnitude of the current vector multiplied by cos of angle, right, which you can see it's nothing but equal to 3 by t times. So if you refer to the previous video, V dq magnitude is nothing but V peak and I dq magnitude is nothing but I peak into cos of delta, which is nothing but 3 times V peak by root 2, which is the RMS voltage, like RMS phase voltage, and I peak by root 2, which is RMS phase current, into cos of delta, right? If you see, this is the same definition, right, which is 3 times V into I into cos of phase difference between voltage and current. Right, so this is so in a way this equation 1 is a more generalized equation, but if we try to find for specifically if it's a balanced pure sinusoidal voltage and current, then we get the same expression which we are aware of. So far so good. So we could actually define an instantaneous active power. There is an average active power, right? Average active power is the average over the fundamental cycle. Now, what about reactive power? Can we somehow also define reactive power in DQ0 frame? Now that's a little bit more difficult. I'll tell you why it's a little bit more difficult. Consider a situation where you have an AC source and an inductor, right? And if you try to find what is the let's say I consider voltage as V sine omega t and current as I sine omega t minus pi by 2, right? Because the current is lagging the voltage because it's only inductor. Then if you multiply V into I, what you will get is minus V into I. You can solve it and you will get something like this. What does it mean? This V into I, what it means is this V into I value is a sinusoid, right? And the magnitude is, if you find the average, it's 0, right? So it's a sinusoid with twice the frequency and the average is 0. And this parameter, right, which is the amplitude of this oscillating waveform, we usually call it as reactive power. Correct? In the normal definition. If you see instantaneously, let me take only one sample here, right? I cannot really comment whether it's an active power, it's a reactive power, unless I know the circuit or I know the history and I know the future. So only by picking one instant, the conventional reactive power definition fails, right? The conventional reactive power definition is based on that you know the full waveform, right? You know the full waveform, you know it is periodic over sine 2 omega t or cos 2 omega t, right? You know it's periodic signal and you know that the magnitude, and that magnitude you call it as reactive power. So therefore, bringing the same definition into DQ0 is, if you see, it's conceptually different. Now, so how do we define an instantaneous reactive power, right? As we are discussing, reactive power is a concept which is, more applicable when we really talk about averaging something over a period of time and so on, right? So how do we define the instantaneous reactive power? So let's use a definition and let's see if that definition makes sense and if that definition converges to our conventional definition or not. So let's say we define instantaneous reactive power by small q, and we say this is nothing but equal to 3/2 times the cross product of the dq voltage with the dq current, right? So you define this as a cross product between the dq voltage and the dq current and the magnitude of that. So the real power was, instantaneous real power was defined as the dot product. Let's say we define this as the cross product, right? Again, you can imagine same thing. So if we further simplify it, right, we can rewrite this as 3/2 into Vd plus jVq cross product with Id plus jiq. If you take the cross product, right, use the right hand thumb rule, then you will get Vd into Iq minus Vq into Id. This is the instantaneous reactive power. Now, okay, this is something which I have defined, this thing. Now, do you think this makes sense? Or rather not I have defined, that's how it's defined in literature. But the question comes that does it, really correlate with the concept of reactive power? What is the concept of reactive power? The concept of reactive power is that generally V into I is the apparent power, right? And only part of it gets used to transfer the real power, right? Only part of it. And the other remaining part is nothing but Q, such that P square plus Q square becomes equal to S square. Right? So the definition of reactive power, in a way you can sense it as the part of S or the part of V into I which is not really being used to transfer the real power. So what we'll do here is we'll find q square, right, and then we'll also find p square, and then we'll see what p square plus q square gives us, right? So let's do that. So if I do q square, then I get 3 by 2 times vd square iq square plus vq square id square minus 2 vd vq id iq, right? And p square I get 3 by 2 times vd id square plus vq iq square plus 2 times vd vq id iq, right? And now if we add p square plus q square, then we see that we get 3 by 2. These terms gets cancelled out, and now we have these 4 terms, right, which you can further simplify, right? So you can say vd square iq square. Let me first write it and then try to simplify them. We can pick this first and the third term. We can say it's vd square common id square plus iq square, and we can take the second and the fourth term, and say vq square is common id square plus iq square, and you can then further simplify it and say this is nothing but id square plus iq square into vd square plus vq square. This you can say this is nothing but equal to 3 by 2 times magnitude of I, right, the magnitude of the vector I squared multiplied by magnitude of vector v square, right? Or rather than that, you can say this is 3 by 2 times magnitude of v magnitude of I squared. You see, this quantity here sort of resembles the apparent power, right? It's not exactly the apparent power, but this resembles the definition of the apparent power magnitude S, right, which was the magnitude was the voltage magnitude to current magnitude. So roughly speaking, this Q does, the instantaneous Q in a way does define the part of the power which is not really being utilized to do real world work, right? So this kind of represents the power which is oscillating and which is not being really utilized. If you do consider a simple situation, so that way our definition is sort of, makes sense, rather the definition of the instantaneous reactive power does make sense. It's not something really, completely different. It has the same basic concept. Moreover, again, if you consider the situation where you take that, for example, again, three-phase balanced only fundamental component, right, then you can see that Q is nothing but equal to 3 by 2 times the cross product of V dq into I dq, right? If you see the frame, then this is, let's say, V, this is I, right, this is delta. You can write this as 3 by 2 times magnitude of V, magnitude of I vector multiplied by sine of delta, right? And this can be written as 3 times this magnitude of V is V peak, so V peak upon root 2, I peak upon root 2 into sine of delta. So you see it does matches with the conventional definition of reactive power, which is 3 times Vrms Irms into sine of delta, where V peak is the phase voltage. Alright, so far so good. So we are able to define the instantaneous active and the instantaneous reactive power, right, in terms of in the dq0 frame, and these definitions is what we are going to use later when we talk about inverter control. Before we conclude here, just a quick one more quick thing we can have a look at is what if the synchronously rotating frame is locked to such that there is no Q component of the voltage. Let me elaborate on what I am trying to say here. So if you have A, B, and C vectors, right? And the resultant voltage vector is rotating, as we understand, with the speed omega, right? Now we obviously have a dq0 frame which is also rotating with the speed omega, and thus this resultant v vector appears or gives rise to two DC components. One is Vd, one is Vq. What if we lock the d axis with the voltage vector itself? So not only the speed, but we match the phase also, right? So the speed and phase of dq frame is matched with voltage vector, right? We have seen earlier that, for example, if your voltage VA was Vp cos of omega t plus delta, then if you make in the rotating frame, if you rotate with theta is equal to omega t plus delta, that would actually give you this particular condition. That means you will be rotating with the synchronous speed, right? Plus you will be rotating with the voltage vector logged onto the d axis. So what does that imply? That implies that your Vd is going to be equal to V peak and your Vq is going to be equal to 0. So your voltage d axis is locked with the voltage vector. Yeah, now how to achieve this, how to really ensure this is equal to this, that part we will have a look at it a little bit later, maybe a separate module on something called as a phase lock loop. So that part, as of now, let's say you know somehow to do that, then you get Vd is equal to V peak, Vq is equal to 0. Now why I wanted to bring that special case is, now if you see the definition of the instantaneous power P, it reduces to 3/2 times Vd into Id, and the definition of reactive power Q reduces to 3/2 times Vd into Iq. That means this Id and Iq are proportional to the instantaneous active and reactive power, right? Assuming if Vd remains constant. So therefore these Id can be, controlled to set P value, right? So for example, if you want a certain power, then you can manipulate Id and get that power level, and Iq can be controlled to set or to control reactive power value, instantaneous reactive power value, right? Let me say. So if you manipulate Iq, you can directly, change reactive power without affecting the real power. If you manipulate Id, you can change the active power without affecting the instantaneous reactive power. So that is, a special case. These are the special case formulation. If the rotating frame is locked and such that the d-axis coincides with the resultant voltage vector. So this is something which gets utilized when we talk about the solar inverter control in the subsequent videos.